sales system generated this client $110,000 in the month of April 2025. Let me show you what we did, but before, let's define the goal that we had for this integration. It was actually a referral that came to us from a partnership network of marketing agencies. This marketing agency was working with this specific landscaping business to run ads on Meta and Google. They were and still is showing pretty decent ROAS for the investment that they're making, but the goal was to get to the next level. So the problem that they faced is that because the business operates within a pretty small radius within their location, when they were trying to increase the budgets, their ROAS was increasing. They do serve B2B and B2C sector. Now, they are actively trying to create a cold outreach campaigns for the B2B side of their business, but right now we're talking about the B2C. So just increasing the budget was not an option. Because we've been tight communication with this marketing agency, they already knew that AI could be the answer. And the answer is to optimize their sales pipeline. Now, as 90, I'd say 90, but usually it's 95% of local businesses that are busy, which is very important. So if the business is busy, it means they have the work, they have limited stuff, all of them are working, 5 days a week. They don't have time, ability, or, enough effort to actually generate the desired sales pipeline that will convert as much people as possible and that will extract all the value from everything they invest into the ads. So that's why this marketing agency came to us. Now, before again going into the results and the actual pipeline with the dashboard that will give you an understanding how much revenue it was able to pull off, as well as how everything works, let's see the backend. They, as I said, run the Meta ads and just the Google ads to the web form. Now, they run the Google ads to the website landing page, but there they have a huge call to action, which leads to this web form. Now, they do have a phone number that clients can call to, but because of the specifics of this specific business, as well as the type of the keywords they are targeting, usually they are getting either the SMS or the form submits. The phone calls, I believe, are about 20%, and that is why we still have not yet integrated an inbound voice AI agent, because that was not a priority. Now, the Facebook ads are, pretty, straightforward, just a punchline, images, contact us. Contact us leads to the Facebook form. That usually, when we work with similar businesses, is integrated into our one prompt, which is our version of HighLevel that you can license and resell to your clients, link in the description. But because these guys and because this marketing agency was running more testing a few different automations on the backend, they already had a make account. So here we had and have a connection with the Facebook lead form submits that is pulling and putting all the information back into our HighLevel account that is triggering the actual agent. Anyways, so we have a lead form submit from the Facebook, and we also have a web form submit. All of them go to HighLevel. Now, because as I said, of the specifics of the business, we are contacting these people usually within 3 to 4 minutes. So we have a randomizer that is sending them messages to engage. I have been showing on this YouTube channel a few variations of the engagement agent, what we call. The idea is that there is a trigger that is happening, then based on this trigger, you are sending the outbound message, call, email, WhatsApp, whatever, trying to say, hey John, I saw that your company does X, Y, and Z, are you, and like tries to pre-qualify the person. Now, because these are the direct to kind of consumer, so these are the B2C leads, they don't have the company, so there's nothing to research. That is why this engagement agent is referencing the actual information that was put into the form on the Facebook as well as on the website. Very important, Mark. If you want me to review from the technical side this agent, how it works, the detailed N8N scenario, as well as all the workflows from the HighLevel, press the like button. You know the rule. 250 likes on this video. If we get them, next week I will create an entire technical overview of this sales system that we integrated to this client. Anyways, so here we are on this stage sending them the SMS. A unique thing that we have been actually testing, this is the first production client that we built it for, we were using voice drop. So the voice drops basically dropping people the ringless voicemailers saying that, hey, John, I sent you the SMS, can you please check? Now, we are not trying to engage and we are not trying to get the call back. This is very important because we have not yet set up, and to be completely honest, we're still not sure if we're gonna do that, the inbound voice AI assistant, probably in future. But because we haven't set it up yet, we don't really want people to make a call because everything can be processed through text. So the education, nurturing, and pre-qualification and light selling phase could be done through, iMessage. That is why we are dropping the voicemail, say, hey John, saw your first submit. I actually sent you the SMS. Have you received it? Please get back to me there. So we are not asking to give me a call back. And it works really good. It does improve the response rate to the messages by a lot. Again, the SMS response rate is pretty high already compared to everything else. But if you're living in the US, you know that spam is crazy depending on like where you live and if your number was leaked and whatever. Depending on a lot of different factors, you can receive enormous amount of spam messages. That is why we're using the voice drop, just to make sure that the person received that. Now, and the engagement starts. There are two main phases when the prospect is not qualified and qualified. We're asking a few questions to make sure that this prospect is qualified. Now, I was actually explaining what we are looking for on one of the emails that I was sending to our subscribers. So let me copy it here and let's paste. So here you can see that the constraint was that because the guys specialize in handmade garden like waterfalls, they need like prerequisites from the customer to be qualified for their service. Okay, again, so relatively flat area. This is the minimum size. Water, soil. You got this board. So this is what we are getting from the people through the SMS. Okay, usually it takes just a few minutes if they respond immediately. If the prospect is not qualified, there are multiple ways and reasons why, and I will show you on the dashboard the stats that is actually showing kind of the people are not qualified and how it depends on the stage they are in. So if there's like a budget qualification constraint, if they don't have enough funds because they have like a pretty big average order size, because it's not just the landscaping company, they're also doing the waterfalls, and this is the primary service, or the time, so it's not the right time, they're just browsing. Now, if it is the budget, what we do, we assigned this prospect to a not to a specific pipeline stage, but rather to just the automation that is sending the email with the lead contact details to a few of the contractors that they work with. So contractors are charging, a bit less. They are pretty busy. They're like working with the small projects because the client doesn't want to fulfill them themselves. When the prospect is qualified, there are two options. When the job is finished, again, I'm not going to cover this in this specific video, but we are actually creating, and we did create, and we're like packaging it up right now into a separate system that is doing the reviews, referrals, and the re-engagement. So we are helping the business to grow and to drive more revenue, profit, and cash flow without them needing to spend more money on the ads. Now, this could be controversial because we got this client from the marketing agency that is spending money on the ads. But again, because we're doing the revenue split, this is not a problem. Now, if you heard what I was pitching all previous videos, we have the one prompt. This is a conversational steel system in the box. You can get it, you can package it up and customize it on your use case in resale for $5,000 to $15,000 to the businesses that you work with, or to integrate it within your own company. So we are planning in the next update to integrate this specific system into the one prompt also, so you can stay up to date on that. But if you already want to enroll and start getting all the details, link in the description. So this is the first thing. Now, when the prospect hasn't started, so it means that for some reason they were not either they were qualified, but they didn't start the project for a certain reason, we are going to run their re-engagement campaigns. Now, we haven't run them yet, and we don't have the results for that. We have the results for other clients, because usually their engagement campaigns run every month or 2 months, as well as on the dates and on the periods where the business is most active. And right now, this is the hot season for the actual companies. So, but again, this is something to keep in mind. So if the job is finished, we're gonna run the actual zero budget sales system to help to drive them more revenue. And if the client hasn't started, we're gonna run the re-engagement campaigns. And here I say the notification because when the prospect is qualified, we're not trying to close, we're sending the notification to the team member that contacts them and get all the details and set the project up, creates, schedules the visit and all these things. We're not automating this specific part. So if we go to the pipeline, on the pipeline, you will see that we have 4 different stages. The form, submit, engage, not fit, and good to go. We don't have a good fit, I think, because of the filter, because these are the lost opportunities, and they should be here. Now, so the form submit means that when we are receiving the lead form submit from the Facebook or from the website, the contact is created inside the system, the opportunity on this pipeline is created, and then, this stage is assigned. Then in, as I said, 3 to 4 minutes, there is a randomizer. We're sending the SMS to this person as well as the voice drop. You can see that there are some people that are still on the pipeline that have not been yet moved to the engage stage where the AI engages with them, because contact details are not correct. So the SMS was not delivered, the voice drop was not delivered also. So we are not yet, but we're gonna create the more automations, try to pull up the details, usually the email that they provide, and then send them the emails. But from what we already tested, it works horrible, because again, especially for the B2C market, the cold emails are really bad. And because of the nature of our business, it does tend to go to spam a lot if we're using their inbox. So we need to set up a separate infrastructure, and this will cost money. So not sure if we're gonna do that, because it's not worth the investment anyways, right? So because if they didn't provide the right details, probably this is still not usually this would still not be the perfect lead. Anyways, so engagement here, the AI is engaging with all the users actively. As you can see, there's like 120 people active on the pipeline. We do have follow-ups when people are not responding to something. We're like following up with them to try to make sure that we get the answers to all of our questions. Now, we have not fit and good to go. Not fit means that you can see that there is $0 assigned opportunity value. By the way, just a clarification. So you can see that there's $7,250 because the opportunity value is 200 to 50. So this is the actual this is like what we defined with the business of the value of each and every lead. This is not how much they spend per each lead, of course, but this is just the amount that they wanted to assign to each and every prospect, because they have a dashboard where their sales rep can like view all the details on one page. Engage, we're not changing anything. On the non-fit, we're obviously removing the opportunity value because this is no longer valid opportunity. And good to go, this is where we assign a true value of an opportunity, which is $4,600, which is the AOV of the customer. Okay, now this is the AOV that they used to have, because in a few moments I will share the actual results that we have been able to drive to this business. So you will see like kind of the difference, but this is what we're usually assigning it to. Now, so this is the pipeline. If we go to the dashboard, we can, okay, let's actually check bi-weekly, for example, this week of April. Now, so within 1 week, they are getting about 70 form submits, which is a lot, okay? Which is huge, like that's a lot. Now, out of these people, we have, so this is like, as you can see, so this is kind of the value. It's usually ranging from, from 8 to 15 form submits. This vary because of the instability of Google ads that they're facing right now. Meta ads are pretty straightforward. So the value on the pipeline and the pre-qualified value, these are different because this is the total value, and the pre-qualified value, this means already the value that was assigned to the prospect after they were qualified and after they were transferred to the actual human sales rep. Now, if we check by the source, you will see that it's probably 60% comes from the Facebook ads, and the 40% comes from the actual web forms. Now, of course, the web forms are not purely driven by the Google ads because they're heavy on the SEO content, they're heavy on the organic presence, so they have huge amount of referrals, they have different campaigns that they're running to the physical stores, whatever. So here, total for submits, this is the percentage based on the web form. So this is also interesting because this is how many were not fit right away. As you can see, there's like 20. And keep in mind that some people are getting back and started to re-engage with us within, a few weeks after the initial point of contact, even though this is not the majority. So this number will probably be bigger. But what is interesting to see is that out of them, so some, like 7 out of the 19, do not have the budget, and 4 which are saying that it's not like right now the right fit, and the 2 said that it is not, the actual services is not the fit for what they are looking. Now, so all of these people, all of the 7 opportunities that said that this is out of their budget, because yes, if you wonder like how are they saying that, because within our pre-qualification bot we programmed it to give the estimates. Now we're giving very rough estimates, and we do take into the consideration only the size of the object. So when they are providing the size of the yard or the garden, we have a simple table where we provide a huge range, because again, depending on the project, depending on enormous amount of factors, but we're giving them kind of the estimates to let them know what we're talking about. So from here, like Seven said that this is out of the budget. That is why we transfer this contact to one of our contractors. So this is pretty much it. If we go here and see the results that we were able to generate, you'll see that the AOV went from 4,600, this is the value that we're assigning to the pipeline, to the 6,200. And the number of deals increased by 50%. Now, very, very important. The number of deals increased is not like, it's not fancy, nor the, AV. Now, of course, on the volume of the deals, if you really count it up, it does matter. And this is just the measurable things that can be measured within a short time frame of us working with the business. Of course, throughout the next few months, quarters, and the years, this will have a much bigger impact on the business overall. But just wanted to let you know is that the actual number of total appointments decreased. So their sales reps were talking to less people every day because most of the people were actually removed from the pipeline on the pre-qualification phase. But this is not a problem. And when you are, for example, offering similar service to other businesses, I don't believe that this is actually something that you can reference. You can build your offerings around it, but this is not the top priority that you should focus on. And I'll explain why. Because usually the businesses, they will have 1, 2, 3 people handling sales on the calls and trying to do this pre-qualification phase. Sure. So yeah, you're removing the time constraint, so you give them more time to focus on the leads that matter. Sure, of course. Now, but this is not usually something that they have a problem with. But the thing that was important in this pre-qualification and light upselling phase is that we were trying, and this is why we increased the AOV, because we are gathering all the details from the customer, right, on the conversational matter. And the customer, when talking to our agent, does not understand. So none of them, I'll tell you, probably, okay, out of this, if I to not lie, like maybe three guys said that this is the robot, contact me, like put me with a real human, but most of them do not understand that they're talking to the AI. So we're gathering all the details. Once the details are gathered, besides sharing the estimate with them, we are also telling them exactly what we can do and all the spectrum of services that we can offer, so that before the actual call with the sales rep, they can think about what they're looking for and what they can potentially invest into this project. Okay? And usually the sales reps are not great. Okay, let's put it that way. So usually the local business sales reps, especially with them, family-owned business, they are not awesome. Like, they are not being trained, heavily on just extracting the most out of each and every sales call. Okay, that is why sometimes they forget about it. Sometimes they do not present it in the right way because they focus on providing the technical aspects and booking all the details of the of the visit. So you need to take this into consideration when integrating or pitching something like that, because the value is not in the time that you're spending instead of instead of the human reps talking to them. No, it's actually on the quality of each and every conversation that is happened that is happening with all of the prospects. So these are the results that we've been able to achieve. As I said, 250 likes on this video. I will create an entire technical breakdown of the system so that you can see how it works. Thanks for watching. Peace.